Tonight on Multi-D News, the case of the Internal Saboteur. Our analysts have been tracking a series of high-level frequency leaks across the terrestrial plane. The evidence points to a sophisticated inside job. Someone, or something, is systematically unplugging recruits from the universal mycelium web. Most of you think you're being attacked by dark forces or fate. The truth is much closer to home. We've retrieved the declassified ego case file. Watch as we profile the perpetrator and, more importantly, discuss the rehabilitation protocol. This isn't just news, it's a criminal investigation into your own shadow.
All right, let's open a case file. But this one's different. There are no victims in the usual sense, no physical evidence, no crime scene to dust for prints. This is an investigation into a saboteur, an internal saboteur. The crime is happening quietly, inside every single one of us. Our investigation starts right now.
You know, we spend so much time looking for threats on the outside, don't we? But what if the most dangerous perpetrator isn't an external force at all? What if it's a part of your own consciousness, running rogue programs from the shadows of your own mind?
The crime we're looking into here, it's not about physical violence. It's way more subtle than that. It doesn't go after your body. It goes after your connection, your sense of belonging, your very link to the flow of life itself. The evidence is clear. This is a crime against unity.
So let's make it official. Case is open. The central charge? A fundamental severing. I want you to imagine this vast natural network, like a mycelium web of flow that connects all of consciousness. Well, the crime is a deliberate act of unplugging from that web.
We're giving this phenomenon a name, the twisted flow. And the symptoms? Well, it's this deep, nagging feeling of separation, of being adrift, totally cut off from that vital energy of source. It's that feeling of being completely and utterly alone in the universe. So the big question is, who or what is responsible for this?
In any good investigation, you start with a lineup. You bring in the usual suspects, those forces that people almost always point the finger at when they feel that darkness creeping in.
First up, we've got the big one, death. I mean, it's the ultimate separation, right? The final goodbye. For so many people, it's the biggest fear there is, the most obvious source of all darkness. So, could death be our saboteur? But you know, when we actually look at the evidence, the case against death, it falls apart. The logic is actually pretty simple. For creation to exist, it has to have cycles. An ending is absolutely necessary for a new beginning. So death isn't some malicious saboteur, it's a built-in feature of the system's design. Suspect number 1 is exonerated. All right, let's move on to suspect number 2. Now this one is a powerful, primal force. It can feel really destructive, almost violent. We're talking about that deep, wild rage that can just bubble up from inside of you. Is this the darkness we're hunting? Is this the real villain? But again, the evidence points somewhere else entirely. This rage, as intense as it feels, isn't the perpetrator. It's a symptom. It's a distress signal, a blaring fire alarm screaming that something is deeply, deeply wrong, that a fundamental pain is being completely ignored. It's not the cause, it's the effect.
And right here, this is it. This is our smoking gun. The source material basically hands us a direct confession. The true darkness, the actual perpetrator we've been looking for all this time, it isn't some huge cosmic force. No, it's the part of us that refuses, that absolutely refuses to listen to that pain. We have our prime suspect, the ego.
Okay, so we've got our suspect. Now it's time to build the profile. Who exactly is the ego? What's its game? Let's break down its identity, its methods, the whole shebang.
Now, it's really crucial to get this. The ego isn't inherently evil. It actually has a very specific job. It's a protector. It's a guardian of the boundaries inside your consciousness. Think of it like a set of computer programs just running on autopilot, designed to keep you safe based on everything you've ever experienced.
So let's get this up on the evidence board. Its alias, the protector. Its MO, its method of operation, is classic misdirection. It's always pointing the finger somewhere else, at someone else, to keep you from looking at it. It hides out in these little unconscious villages in our psyche, sealed off from any new information. And its origin story? It was born from pain, from a core conditioning that taught it that separation is the only way to survive.
Pause feed. Look at the profile. Alias, the protector. Method, misdirection. Origin, born from pain. This is the blueprint of every glitch in your 5D signal. You cannot arrest the ego, but you can definitely retrain its Department of Defense. Pay attention to these retraining codes coming up.
So we know who our saboteur is. But the next big question in any investigation is why? What's the motive behind this crime of separation? Why would our own protector betray us like this? And here's the big twist in the case. The ego's motive, it isn't malice. It's not actively trying to hurt you. It's just operating on a deeply, deeply flawed survival strategy. It has been conditioned by pain to believe that it's finite, that it's all alone, and that it has to fight and control and consume just to keep existing.
This, right here, this is the ego's confession, its internal monologue. It truly believes that to be separate means to be cut off from the life force of Source. So, in its panic, it decides it has no other choice but to take what it needs, to control its conditions no matter the cost. It's all just a tragic misunderstanding.
And this comparison just lays it all out so clearly, doesn't it? You've got these two different paths. The ego's path, what we're calling the twisted flow, is all about I, with no room for us. It's about power over and about trying to control everything. But the natural path of Source, the with flow path, that's about the we within the me. It's a balance of self and other. It's about co-creating with the conditions of life, not trying to dominate. So what do we do with our perpetrator? I mean, in a case like this, the goal isn't punishment. It's not about locking the ego up and throwing away the key. It's about rehabilitation. It's about rewriting its programming.
I just love this analogy from the source material. It says the ego is like a guard dog that's been trained by past trauma. It's barking and growling, protecting you from threats that might not even exist anymore. So the solution isn't to get rid of the dog. The solution is to retrain it, to teach it to protect what you value now, not what your old pain has locked away.
So how do we actually do that? Well, the case file gives us a 4-step protocol. First, you have to meet the other. You've got to acknowledge those walled-off parts of yourself. Second, and this is so important, you have to grace them with listening. You have to really hear the pain they're holding. Third, you circulate that stuck energy. You get that life force moving again into those isolated villages. And finally, you consciously update the ego's agenda. You give it a new mission.
Ultimately, this entire investigation, it leads to this really powerful shift in perspective. The ego is not some villain to be defeated. It's a lost, misguided protector doing the only job it knows how to do based on really old information. The real work is about welcoming it back home, integrating it, and giving it a new, healthier role to play in your inner world.
And you know, like any good detective story, this case is never really closed. The investigation just turns inward. It becomes a personal, ongoing process of discovery. So the real question that this whole case file leaves us with is this. Who are the residents living in the forgotten villages of your own consciousness? And what pain are they holding that is just waiting to be graced with your listening?
The evidence is in. The ego isn't a villain to be locked away. It's a traumatized guard dog that needs a new mission. To complete Protocol 6, you must begin your own internal neighborhood watch. Visit the forgotten villages of your consciousness. Listen to the pain. Update the agenda. The case remains open until every fragment is home. This has been Multi-D News. Stay vigilant, stay aligned.